Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for Broadway World. Magic is back on Broadway this holiday season. Having shattered box office records around the globe, the Illusionists, Witness the Impossible, will play a limited engagement through January 4th as part of their 30-city U.S. tour. And we're here at the Marquee Theater where I met the company and they gave us a spectacular sneak peek at the show. I love this world that you've created. Thank you for bringing this to Broadway. How cool is Broadway for you?
Well, it's been a lifelong dream because I produce musicals in Australia. So of course this is it's heaven on a stick. And to be honest, we're staying across the road, and every morning I come to work and I go, it wasn't a dream. We're really here. It's fantastic, and we're bringing lots of new people into the theatre. That's what we seem to do wherever we travel around the world. Usually at the end they'll say, 60-70% of the people have not been into the theatre before. So we're bringing new people to Broadway, I hope, as well as obviously fulfilling the appetite of those who love Broadway.
Were you always into magic and illusions? I mean, what got you involved in this?
Well, it was actually like my partner Simon, so I was always into musicals, and then we met and we were putting Cirque shows on, and we sort of, we felt that Cirque, the cycle of Cirque might come to an end, and we knew there was an appetite for this kind of entertainment.
What was today like for you?
Well, it's amazing. I mean, the show has been to so many places, but we've always wanted to come to Broadway. So to be here at this time of year with a magic show, for me, is the perfect fit. It's such a magical time of year with a magical show.
And thank you for showing us what you showed us today. I mean, this is amazing stuff.
Well, thank you. I mean, the guys, with this show, it's really just about the talent. They are extraordinarily brilliant at what they do, each and every one of them. And they all do something completely different. So I really wanted to share it with everybody, the press here, just to show them a taste of what we do.
Okay, how did the show come about for you?
We produced commercial theatre, so very large-scale events, big Cirque shows, big thrill shows. And about 3 or 4 years ago, we had a summer season at the Sydney Opera House, and they wanted us to do what Cirque du Soleil did to circus to magic, and to contemporise the art form and bring it to the 21st century, I suppose. So we searched the world for these guys, and we had a 2-week booking, and we sold, I think, 40,000 tickets. So we never expected it to do so well, and it just carried on from there. So we've been on a world tour ever since, and this is the first opportunity we've had to come into America.
You put together the finest acts. I'm sure there are so many acts out there. How did you hone it all down to this?
Well, it's taken a long time. So the show started with a bit of a different lineup. Some of the guys are from the original cast and some are not, but we've now honed it down to what I believe are really the 7 greatest illusionists in the world in their respective fields. And it's been hard to find. There's not many that are this good. And I could not be happy with the cast.
This show is very spectacular, and that's huge. So I'm very happy working with this show and working with the Illusionists. That's just a great honor to me. So I'm very happy this day because I'm doing show on Broadway. This is Broadway. Yeah, that's great honor. And when I was 8 years old, I started magic. One day my friend showed me a card magic. It was so amazing. I was curious about the magic. Then I started magic and showed to my friend. They were so happy. After that, this is my dream. And then magic has become my life.
Okay, take me back to the beginning of when you first got involved in the world of illusions and magic. What was that defining moment for you?
What made me decide this is something interesting? I saw Copperfield when I was a kid. And I was like 4. My grandparents took me to see him. And at 4, I'd seen magicians before, like at birthday parties or whatever, restaurant or something. But I didn't know that magic could be more than that, because you didn't know. And so I saw it, and I didn't understand what I was seeing because he did this escape that supposedly goes wrong, and you see him visibly get cut in half and split apart, and it freaked me out, and I thought he died, and we had to leave the show, and I never saw him get put back together, which happens eventually, and so yeah, so that was sort of an introduction of what I guess like a stage illusion is, as opposed to like twisting shit up or whatever. Yeah.
Okay, so you didn't see him get put back together. It freaked you out, but you're like, this is the world I may want to be a part of.
Well, yeah, because then I was like given like magic kits and showing it's just a trick and stuff like that, and then that kind of made me kind of go like, oh, so this is like a thing. This is something that exists.
What was that first trick that you learned that you said, you know what, I can actually maybe do this for a living?
Man, I don't know. There was one thing though that I had that I'd gotten, and I took it to school, and it was this thing where it was a big dice die, goes in a box and it disappears and it can reappear like over here or something. So I took it to school for show and tell, and I hid to make the dice reappear. Instead of me just making it reappear, I made sure that it would reappear in a different part of the classroom. So I said, like, now we have to find it or something like that. And I knew that if I did that, that would take up show and tell time, which would then cross over into we wouldn't have to take our books out and start learning or cursive or some garbage like that. And so that's what I did. And I stalled out the class. And that was my first successful, I think, attempt at anything.
How did you come up with this act?
It was something I was doing for many years, actually, and we kind of brushed it up and made it prettier for this show. But I would always go to concerts when I was a kid, and they had these giant LED walls, and they would always have images on them. And I thought, why not do some actual magic with these LED walls? So that's where I come up with a lot of my stuff, is from concerts. You see things and you go, that's a great effect. It was very entertaining, but if that were applied to magic, what would it look like? So that's kind of where my inspiration comes from.
Okay, so not being able to afford those kind of things, LED screens at home, how did you put it all together?
Well, in the beginning, I had white bed sheets and I had a home theater projector, and I just recorded myself up against a white wall dancing, and then I projected it on the wall. I just stood next to it, and I was like, oh, there's something here. And for years I did the act with white bed sheets, and now we have giant LED walls. So it's just kind of, you figure out if there's something there, and when you get a lead that there's something there and it's entertaining, then you invest more money into it and make it better.
Was that the first act you put together?
No. The first act I put together was probably a card trick when I was 9 years old. This was something I put together probably when I was 25 years old or so. I try to create about 10 acts a year. So there's always new stuff. Some of them are great, some of them are terrible. But hopefully you keep the hits and discard the misses, right?
Walk down, you see the marquee outside, you see your pictures plastered all over New York. Is it surreal?
It is surreal, yeah. And then, like, I'm from Belgium, and when you say things like this in Belgium, that I'm actually doing this, it's hard to grasp for them. But for me as well, I must admit, yeah.
So take me back to the beginning, how you got started in the world of magic and illusion.
As a kid, I got this magic box, but only for so long, because I couldn't quite figure it out, so I pushed it to the side. And then in my early 20s, I started doing magic again, and then I had my martial arts background and my dancing, and I started combining all of this into my work that I do now. So my acts are they're having to do with danger and fear, and how to cope and overcome fear. So this is kind of the basis of the majority of my work.
So talk about what you do in the show, in The Illusionists.
Can I say that?
Yes.
Come and say, no, I can say. So I have a couple of acts, but in this show I will be doing a marksman stunt. So I have a bow and arrow, and it's having to do with people from the audience, a couple in love, and then they go to this. They help me out, And then at the end, it has a very nice twist to the story. I think it's a beautiful piece to do.
So you're the inventor. This was so exciting today. What was this morning like for you?
Well, it's a blast to be here with all the press. You know, we get excited every time we're on this stage. Broadway's a dream come true for us. We've been all over the world, but never on Broadway, so check that one off the bucket list.
That's a big one, being here at holiday time.
Yeah, we expect it to be really busy and lots of families. It's the great part about it. It's a family show, and you know, magic transcends all kinds of barriers: age, language, race. You don't even have to speak English to totally enjoy the show.
I love the piece. The inventor, talk about how you came up with that whole segment in that piece.
You know, our producer Simon Painter asked us to find our moniker, some character that we could kind of hang our hat on, and I invent a lot of stuff. I thought that was a nice big playground to build my universe in, and it's not too far from the truth. So if I was a superhero, I would invent stuff to solve, problems.
Well, I didn't know that Broadway was on my bucket list because I didn't think a magic show like this would come to Broadway. Next thing you know, we're here. Boom. Now I got to check it off. It's great.
Is it surreal? I mean, it's Broadway.
Well, I'm from Detroit. Of course, anything. I mean, Akron, Ohio was great. And now we're here. This is cool. This is the best thing. This is about as good as it gets.
So talk about what you do in the show.
I'm the comedy foil. In other words, way too much seriousness, way too much drama, death-defying stunts, and next thing you know, ta-da, I got to do a little fun. Yeah, that's me.
And being a part of this show, what it means to you, how this has been touching audiences all around the world.
Well, I think the big thing is that most people lose their sense of wonderment as an adult. Magic allows them to regain that wonderment as a child, especially around the holidays. It's a perfect match, and that's why I think New Yorkers and everyone who's ever visiting Manhattan should be seeing the show. Regain that sense of wonder.
You know, this show is flawless. Does it amaze you when you watch these acts?
I do. I actually go out and watch. I don't even care for magic shows, actually. I would rather watch a soccer game. However, this show, I go out in the audience and I will peek all the time at what happens. It's amazing. It really is.
When I was 14, I was reading through the books about Houdini and this famous water tortoise shell. And I say, wow, this is scary and dangerous. So maybe this is the secret of him being so famous after so many years. He died, right? So I started practicing with the handcuffs and getting into escapology, and I felt an amazing satisfaction when I could succeed my escapes. And then when it was the moment to step on big stages, I say, well, I should do something that Houdini did, but maybe for the today audience. So I tried to remove all the cloth, all the curtains, and show people how really can be an escape like that.
This is absolutely amazing. Talk about the first time you went into the water tank, wherever that was, and what you remember about that first time.
Terrible feeling. Like, why I'm doing that? I'm pretty good with card tricks, and I should keep doing that, So yeah, it was terrible because I remember there was a cold water, very cold, so I wasn't used. Then the people do not realize that there are some hidden difficulties in the thing. Just to take the pain of the ankles, squeezing the stocks, and all your weight is there, that's not nice. So remember that feeling. Yeah, my ankles, my bones get squeezed, and me into the cold water, and I was having my eyes closed because I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. But then I've done it, and after the first time, gets better, but I'm still scared.
Chained and shackled by the ankles, Houdini would be lifted high into the air and then plunged upside down, head first, into what became known as the water torture cell. 200 gallons of cold water and only as much breath as he could hold. So real, in fact, during Houdini's time, the promoters insisted that the tank be covered to spare the audience the sight of his demise should things